Good evening, ladies, Jennifers, and my lovely NBs. We're here live at the Still in Tennessee, where the Tennessee Moonshiners will go up against the Montana Howlers in game number 4 of the FBA Finals. My name is Marcus Baylor, and to my right is Ryan Eastman. How are you doing, dude?
Doing excellent. Glad to see the series is picking up after Tennessee managed to defend home court in game numero 3.
Yeah, and that's really have been the big thing is they have been doing a very good job of being able to fend off at home and really try and go go really further than what people really expected here, as they're really going to as it really took control of game number 3, especially behind the pause of Selby.
Yeah, I mean, everyone stepped up on the starting lineup for Tennessee, and you look at them right now, and they are the underdog here, seventh seed, an opportunity to make a bit of history with a possible second banner. This would be one of the lowest rated seeds to ever win a championship. Meanwhile, Montana wanting to be the very first team to cross that 10 championship mark, and they have another opportunity here on the road to get game number 3 under their belts to head home and try and win it in front of their home fans. But I don't think Tennessee is going to let them have that opportunity easily here tonight.
Yeah, 100%. As we saw, like the change of energy that we saw from the Shiners being able to play on their home court has really paid dividends on them, as they have done a fantastic job from all fronts, as they have been able to do what they can to pretty much not only match up with the Howlets have done, but even exceed at some times, as they were able to have some pretty big leads in the third quarter. But now, are they able to match that kind of energy in game number 4, as the Howlers are looking to be more equipped to go whatever they're about to throw at them?
Yeah, and the biggest question, Selby, was there in game 1, disappeared in game 2, was there in game 3? Is this a pattern? Are we going to see him disappear here in game 4? Or is he going to show up again and absolutely take over for the Moonshiners?
Yeah, and speaking of like one of the star players going over to Birdie, Birdie has done has pretty much done his what he has to do in these past 3 games. Has not been able to score under 20 points in any of the games that we played so far in this series, and I imagine that he's going to be a really big factor to how the Moonshiners game plan coming into this.
Yeah, I mean, the Moonshiners haven't been able to find an answer for Birdie yet. They were able to contain him a little bit better in game 2 and 3, but wasn't enough in the end to, completely shut him out. And if he finds a little bit of a spark tonight, he might be the difference maker for Montana.
Yeah, 100%. As they are looking to probably take one on the road to really be in a really trying to set their way up to possibly get a chip at home in Montana. But of course, we have to see how things play out, as both teams are starting to line up for the tip off.
And the tip-off will go the way of Montana. They're trying to make history here in this finals, but trying to get it done on the road. Here's a big block from behind, but Sutters cleans it up and gets the second chance opportunity. And Kierkegaard, absolutely dominant last game on the defensive end, and he's going to have to be played around. They can't afford to give so many blocks against him.
Yeah, for sure. He has been a great stopgap for the Moonshiners, and he's able to pick up the pace offensively in game 3 as well. And hopefully, we continue to see that heading into game number 4.
And St. Croix able to lay it up and in. And of course, for Tennessee, it was Selby to get the first basket for them. And you know, we want to continue to see the spread around, but no, they're going to dish it down. Aldrich, great needle threading the pass down through the defense to the driving rabbit, able to elevate and dunk it down.
Yeah, Selby really showing that he has not cooled off whatsoever, really going against this whole idea that he has been very inconsistent, as Tennessee has a chance to possibly take the lead here if they get this basket.
Yeah, Montana got a lead early this time. They didn't have to wait till the third quarter, but again, just matters what happens at the very end when that buzzer sounds. Is No good on the second, good on the first, but River able to clean it up, and a bit of volleyball action there, just tapping it back in the air, not having to pull it down and gather himself.
Yeah, that's another player that you really need to look out for River. River played a really big, um, has been a big factor in game number 2, but not so much game number 3 too much. He did made some noise a little bit, but we have to see him try and go ahead and expand on that if they really want to get a chance to prevent Montana from taking a game.
And Liana going to the line for 2, and you gotta definitely talk about him, his experience, and 2 championships already in his short career. Trying to add a third one here in Tennessee, and he's a great player to look towards the rookies around him, or the younger players around him, to follow his lead. But on the same side, Montana has been so explosive, and Selby not able to convert, but Leanna's going to foul him. A little bit of revenge for the last foul against her, and now he'll go to the line for 2.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting how Montana's have to find a way to contain Selby, because that's what he's been able to do to get a majority of his points, is being able to drive into the basket, finding those open lanes, being able to take advantage of what the defense is giving them, and how the help defense has to come in a little bit quicker to prevent Selby from having opportunities like this.
Yeah, and I talked about defensively, Montana has the bigger size. I kind of wish they would utilize that a little bit more. Maybe they need to switch someone off, bring someone in to just be a defensive person against Selby, because if they can shut Selby down, last game we saw that the rest of Tennessee could score, but Selby's explosiveness is just so difficult to contain, as Tennessee will have an opportunity to add to that lead after that missed shot there.
Yeah,
Ooh, big dunk!
Just that at Selby going down with that dunk.
I mean, he alone is outscoring the Howlers right now.
He scored 8 of the 10 points that the Shiners have had so far, and he has really been the staple in the opening of this quarter. We'll see if that continues on, as Montana trying to match up with that, but to no avail.
Yeah, Selby getting it done. And, I mean, you got to question, okay, how do you stop him? Ooh, ball stripped, almost lost. Another strip. Double time, gets it done finally, as Cross is the one to come up with the steal.
Yeah, that's kind of been the biggest stat that we looked at so far in the finals, has been the turnovers. For the first 2 games, Montana has been able to do whatever they can to force mistakes onto the Moonshiners. But at game number 3, we saw the reverse in that case that got Tennessee the victory. So we'll have to see how the turnover ratio comes into play between these 2 teams.
Yeah, like I said, Tennessee did have a lower field goal percentage. Selby trying to do a 3, finally missing a shot.
And the first shot missed there for Selby, and that's probably a good sign for a Shiners fan. Not big that he missed, but the fact that this was his first miss, as we're only about 4 minutes into the first quarter.
Yeah, and Selby against St. Croix, not able to really do much against the Polar Bears. She will score, and, end of the day, it's the Montana team versus the Tennessee team. It might feel like Selby is carrying the bulk of the weight, but, a large group can come out on top, as it takes 3 different people to score that basket for Tennessee, as St. Croix got blocked and River ended up cleaning up the missed opportunity.
Yeah, right now, Tennessee trying to take advantage of those second chance opportunities, as Liana Cross trying to go for the quick layup, but not able to finish it up.
Aldrich, ball top of the perimeter, trying to drive in. He had a good game last game, putting up 10 points. As he gets the better of the Polar Bear one-on-one. Doesn't matter. I mean, 10 points, 4-point game here. Montana at 10.
Yeah, and you got to look at that efficiency as well. Tennessee, once again, starting off pretty hot with 60% field goal percentage, as they continue to rely on the paint, as Liana Cross has struggled so far as Kierkegaard doing everything he can as he gets that quick dunk, making it look way too easy, as we're seeing a little bit of a repeat of what happened in game number 3.
Yeah, huge dunk there. And, Kierkegaard is going to get a little bit more open when they start to focus on Selby, as now it's going to be St. Croix. Great matchup again against Aldrich this time, able to lay it up and in. And we kind of commented on her last game being a bit quiet in that first half, but she definitely stepped up in the second. It looks like tonight she is getting it going from the beginning as Selby finally hits that three he was aiming for. Couldn't make it the first one, but now I'll go on the second. And Tennessee already up to 7. Montana may feel the need to call timeout here soon.
Yeah, there is a pretty big possibility, especially if they're not going to get the basket here. And that is not going to be the case if they do get the score, as Liana's starting to make her first basket of the game as she goes into 4 points. And River being able to dunk it down with his own authority.
Yeah, they were too focused on keeping the lanes away from Selby, and River just had an open look to the basket. You know, Selby has great court vision. Not going to fall for that. He's going to be able to find the opening. And again, Saquon now. That's her 8th point already. I mean, she's starting to catch up with the Rabbit in terms of scoring, and she's done half of Montana's points so far in this quarter.
Yeah, and I think she's really starting to become a little bit more of the focal point offensively for Montana, as once again Selby just making magic work for his team, as he is once again just not slowing down as he left for the first quarter, and he's just doing a fantastic job of being on pace to possibly another 40-point game at this rate.
Yeah, finding wide opening lanes again. He was just so open after his good acceleration, good, change of pace, able to get around the defender, and now it's going to be Montana having to find an answer for him. And Leanna Cross has not been it tonight, but it might be St. Croix. She gets the second chance opportunity, but no good.
Yeah, some great defense there, even though that Croix was able to get the second chance opportunity, and the ball got knocked out as Williamson gets the turnover.
Oh, alley-oop attempt failed there.
Yeah, some miscommunications from both sides, as I believe that the player jumped up a little bit too early for that alley-oop pass, and it made it easy pickings for Tennessee. But we're seeing quite a few misses here on both ends, as both teams are trying desperately to get a shot. We finally see one with Williamson going for 3.
Yeah, he struggled attacking the paint this series, but he has been good from beyond the arc, and that was smooth as can be. Nothing but net in transition, and that's what I want to see the Wallaby doing more in this game. I want to see Montana utilize that 3-point game. They've really been lucky in terms of with Sutters, Birdie, and St. Croix able to attack the paint at will. And that's starting to leave some more openings around the perimeter, I feel like. Is Bivens going to get foul against Roth. Bivens heading the line for 2.
Yeah, and I have to say right now, even though Montana has kind of struggled to contain Selby throughout this game so far, they have been able to stay in it, as Bivens missed both of those shots. So Montana has a chance to possibly cut this to a 1-possession game with this basket.
Oh, great court vision pass to the rookie Rendall. Able to make that basket. Like you said, now a 1-possession game, but plenty of opportunities still left to go.
Yeah, it seems like Montana finally found their footing here, as it doesn't seem to really matter so much, as Bivens once again coming in and really trying to make some kind of noise offensively.
Well, that's off the rookie Red Panda. He's done really well here this series. Not really both rookies there's more than those 2 rookies. I'm talking about Rendall and Bivens. But, the 2 of them have really not been shy of showing up here in this series. We see the pass down the Blackburn time running out. Oh, they're getting a call to the violation, but that was so close. I'm surprised they aren't going to review it, because I thought he may have gotten it off.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much going to show that maybe that one extra pass might have did him in a little bit. And it doesn't seem like that the refs are not going to be willing to go ahead and review this early in the game. So they're just going to let them play it out.
Black with the ball, fading away, a little too much behind it, not able to convert it.
Yeah, it seems like Black, she has struggled a little bit within this series. She has found some moments here and there, but considering her size disadvantage against majority of players, it's been hard to really find a bucket here in the finals. We see another quick dunk there from Roth.
Yeah, the second-year player, the Hawk, found himself on the bench this year after having some starting minutes year 1, but the acquisitions of Birdie kind of forced him to the bench, but Black there using her size to her advantage, weaved under the defender's arm and got behind him and able to take that shot. I mean, you talk about, being able to guard a big player is difficult, but sometimes a smaller player also, they're able to get in the gaps that you don't expect a normal player to be able to fit through and find themselves an open look. As Rendall, the turnaround jumper is good. Difficult shot for the rookie to make there.
Yeah, right now the second unit for the Howlers have done a very good job staying on pace. And we get a nice, I believe that was a block there on Blackburn.
Even if
It
it
did
wasn't a
hit the side of
block,
the rim.
it was so good. The defense was so strong that I might as well call it a block.
Yeah, and right now Lady Black get called for her first personal as we do see Gunnarsson go on the line for 2.
Well, and here Montana a chance to get the lead once again. But Tennessee looked like they were starting to slip away with it, but Selby on the floor, on the bench now. A chance for Montana's bench to carry them and battle for the ball. Comes up Tennessee.
Yeah, and right now Tennessee has to be really careful not to make these kind of turnovers as Lady able to go around her defender and lay it up and in.
Getting fast on the floor, able to find the gaps. Now it's Montana. Again, not really much of a three-point team this series. Relying on that post and mid-range play. Roth fades away, no good. Difficult shot for him.
Yeah, some very good defense there for the Shiners as we are seeing Tennessee wanting to go ahead and kind of make it very difficult to get those mid-range shots off. And you can see the same thing for Montana, but it's not going to be the case here as Weber is able to go ahead and get that one down.
Yeah, another second-year player. Again, both these teams have a lot of youth on their team. Montana made up of, a lot of third-year players with Callum and Birdie. And Savoy for Tennessee trying to make it work, not able to. And Collins, the rookie, tips it out to Black, able to get a second chance opportunity here as the shot clock winding down on Black. She's trying to find an opening, giving it to Baptiste. And Baptiste with the finger roll is good. 6-point game now for Tennessee.
Yeah, and that possession looked a little bit like a mess, but Lady Black being able to stay calm in that situation and giving that opportunity for Baptiste to get that basket.
Yes, and Rendall going to attack the basket, an isolation play, getting the Bird an open lane to the basket. Had to work for it. But compared to game 3, the game was tied 22 apiece at the end of the first quarter. Both teams stepping it up offensively here in game number 4.
Yeah, we will see Tennessee getting the final shot here as we are winding down the clock. I imagine Black's going to be the one to go and take it, and she will, and it's not going to go down. So we will end the quarter with Tennessee up by 4, 33-29.
Yeah, very even game still. I mean, obviously not as even as last game where we went into the first quarter and tied. But, Tennessee looked like they were starting to build a bit of a lead with their starting lineup, but it's been Montana's bench able to pull them back and keep them close. And now the question will be, how does Montana adjust once Tennessee starters are back on the floor?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it has been an interesting battle between the two second unit teams as, sometimes it has been hot for one end and cold on the other, or for both of their teams respectively. And it seems like right now both teams are very much even when it comes to second unit.
Black from beyond the arc, trying to get that 3 to fall, not able to. It's going to be Montana. Rendall with the spin move, trying to get a lane to the basket. Can't find anything. Goes to Dunbrock, who has a great matchup, and they have to double team because of that. And there's a bit of switching on the defensive end. It's now Mad versus Black, trying to fight his way, giving it to Dunbrock. Big pass cross court, dangerous over the defenders, but it's going to be Blackburn. And, that's using some size. Dunbrock to Blackburn, two of the tallest players on Montana. They can afford to throw the ball high to each other and not be so worried about a defender, sticking their paw up and intercepting it.
Yeah, 100%. We've been saying this. It's been kind of on a repeat right now as Dunbrock and Blackburn has really been a very, very key factor in the second unit as they have been able to do whatever they want so far into these games. As once again, Blackburn going in for that basket, I believe.
I thought it was actually Gunderson that made the shot for Montana, but game tied
Oh well.
nonetheless. Gunderson defending it Black, but second defender comes over and no good from Black. She's struggling a little bit here, and Rindal wants to use a fast break opportunity. Gets inside the free throw line for that shot. Is good. Montana with the lead once again here, and Tennessee already looks like they want to make a substitution, maybe pulling Lady Black out at the next dead ball, as she started to struggle a little bit here.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with the amount of speed that she has, and when teams start to go ahead and prepare for that, it becomes a lot more difficult offensively for them. But it's not going to be the case here, as Tennessee does tie things back up once again.
Gunderson just holding the ball at the top of the arc, giving over to Yamashita. Back to Blackburn. Oh, a little too much behind that.
Ooh.
Not able to. Ooh, a loose ball foul. Dunbar going to get called there. The Bear a little too aggressive on that offensive rebound attempt. And yes, we will see Aldrich coming back on the floor for Tennessee, trying to take back over the floor general position, leading this offense. It's Tennessee. Ooh, a big foul blocking called against Dunbar. That's two very quick fouls, and they're going to keep him out there because he's a bench player. He can afford to give up a few more fouls, but that's more of a mental question than of how that's going to impact him.
Yeah, 100%. And as we have stated, like when it comes to the bigs of Montana, even if he is a bench player, Montana is pretty stacked when it comes to the bigs. So trying to make at least one of them into foul trouble makes things a little bit easier for your team, especially when it comes to the second unit.
That is true. I mean, obviously, if they get into foul trouble, even if he doesn't foul out, he might start thinking, I have to play conservatively. I can't risk giving up another foul, especially on defense. Getting called for blocking is always such a pain because usually you're committing to try and get the charge called. Or they can even call you for blocking if they feel like you impede the way of the player too much. But a big block there from Dunbar, and that's why he's needed on the floor. So Montana trying to go fast, cross, step back, jumper, no good. Kierkegaard cleaning it up.
Yeah, Kierkegaard and Selby both putting in work to prevent any kind of fast break points so far in that possession. And now Tennessee is trying to slow things up, but Sharp gets the alley-oop dunk there to take the lead over to the Tennessee side once again.
Yeah, and that was all thanks to Aldrich dishing the ball right where he needed to be, and that's kind of why they brought him back in. Even if, scoring-wise, he hasn't been as impactful as players like Selby, leading the team still from the floor has a big impact. And Callum there, I believe, gained the bucket. Both teams have their both teams have their starting point guards back in together.
Yeah, right now I think that's going to be the big key here. Is Callum has done a very good job, but Selby continuing on his onslaught, being a very, very good offensive piece here for Tennessee, as he has been a huge scoring factor.
Callum trying to attack the paint. Now Selby on the other end, fast break opportunity. And here's the problem. Montana hasn't apparently found their answer to Selby yet.
Yeah, they really haven't. Selby has been getting anything that he really wants so far into this game, and he's going to continue to try and do that here. We'll see what Montana has to do is to probably try and match the offensive efficiency as LaVoy Williams is doing what he does best as he continues to play very well.
Not just that, Callum getting the ball to Birdie. That's going to be a phrase that we're going to get to say many, many times as these two play together here in Montana. Great chemistry, and even if Callum struggles, Birdie can be there to get open and get buckets to fall. Now it's Leanna Cross with the ball. Driving to the paint, dishes back to Callum. Callum over Kierkegaard, blocked though.
Ooh.
No reset of the shot clock, so needs to get a bucket up quick. And it's going to be Cross beyond the arc, no good.
Yeah, and that was some great defense there for the Moonshiners, being able to get that quick block from Kierkegaard on the rain. That's how difficult it is for these to go over these bigs like that. Like, yeah, you can give the advantage to the guard when they are around the perimeter, but that is a lot of deer to be trying to throw a ball over. So it's not too much of a surprise that they got easily blocked there.
And Dunbar ended up losing the ball to Kierkegaard. Jackalope with active pause in the post, and Sharp, quick play on the other end as that gets laid up. 6-point lead for Tennessee, and Montana hasn't called a timeout yet. I believe this might be a good time. Maybe not this possession, but the next one. With 5 minutes and some change left to go in this second quarter, you want the first half to end on a positive note, but Leanna over Kierkegaard is no good, and that's the problem. Is Kierkegaard keeps getting switched onto the ball handler, and he is fast enough that they can't get around him. So he has the speed to keep up with them and the length to be an absolute pest when facing them.
Yeah, that's a very dangerous combination for any kind of center. As once again, another basket is going to go down for Tennessee. This time, Greg Creer getting his 4th point of the game, and that's something you really got to pay attention to on defense. Is that it's not only just the size that can really help out, but also the athleticism a a big can have that can really come into play. But Kierkegaard going a little bit too wild trying to block that shot as Cross draws the foul on him.
And I mean, your point right there. Kierkegaard managed to catch up and get in front of Cross. He gets called for the contact, but Cross thought she had him beat, and he still managed to catch up to her. And had the contact not been made, I think it would have been a missed shot either way. There's a battle for the ball in the post, and it's gonna be the polar bear that comes out on top. You do not get between a polar bear and the ball. I think River realizing that is losing the battle down low in the post, but not able to convert that turnover.
Yeah, and that's something that we also got to pay attention to for when it comes to the strength of St. Croix, as she's able to get that rebound there.
Cross, this time able to get the finger roll over Aldrich, a bit better of a matchup against him than Kierkegaard. But now, 4 minutes left to go. Tennessee with the side advantage, but a huge block by Sutters. It's going to stay with Tennessee, but that block is worth more than getting possession. That makes a statement there.
Yeah, that is 100% a statement block from Sutters. He's been in this league for a very, very long time, and it's great to see him still being able to do what he does best on the defensive end.
And Tennessee comes away empty. Again, a shot clock. A big block like that left very little time. And now St. Croix, great matchup, but dishes it out to Williamson. They're going to reset. Roth in off the bench. Finds the open polar bear. She had an easy lane to the basket and took it. No chance to even get a body in front of her to stop her. It's a 3-point game now. Tennessee's watching their lead slowly evaporate.
Yeah, this is something that we saw in Game 3 as well, as when Tennessee was able to get a nice little cushion. Montana finding ways to get back into this thing, and Tennessee not trying to find any sort of answer. We see another alley-oop attempt, but this time it's not going to be good.
Yeah, a little too much from Roth there. Now it's going to be Aldrich. Left corner, rattles around. If the backboard was there, that might have gone in, but that's the tough problem with shooting from the side. The window, the margin's just a little smaller. Yes, you're a little bit closer to the basket, but it's a lot less forgiving. But it's going to be the polar bear. 1 point down now, and St. Croix was very impactful in the first quarter, and now she's showing up again here in the second.
Yeah, showing up late in the second quarter, really trying to get as much opportunity as she can, especially in the second chance opportunities. But now Tennessee needs to find some kind of answer here, as we get another miss there, this time from River. And now Montana has a chance to take this lead.
Yes, Roth with the ball. Dishing it down low to Sutters. Sutters is against Aldrich. It's a good matchup for him as he lays it in. Montana takes the lead, and there's a 9-0 run last 3 minutes. And I was talking about Montana needing to call a timeout, and I'm glad they didn't, because apparently they were on the verge of a run, and I don't think anyone really knew it. They've shut down Tennessee completely here.
Yeah, I think that really kind of shows the amount of trust. We finally see the run being broken there by River with that basket, but that shows the confidence that the coach really has on these players, as they're able to find a way to figure things out as Montana once again gets the lead.
Yeah, Roth answering back with a bucket down low in the post, but Tennessee And to feel like that they go back to Selby, they're going to start finding things. I think that was, and we see right there, 8 ties, 7 lead changes. This is very similar to game numero 2, where we saw a lot of back and forth, especially in that second half. And to see if one team can find a lead here, or if we're going to be cursed to this back and forth affair.
And it seems like we're going to continue on the back and forth affair as another lead change happens with that basket there for Montana. And both teams are doing very well when it comes to field goal possession with 56% and 52% respectively between the two teams as we're in the closing seconds of the second quarter.
Yeah, no good from Tennessee there, and it's going to be an opportunity for Montana now to maybe build a little bit of a lead before the half comes to a close. Roth with the ball, calling for the screen, giving it to St. Croix. She faked a bit of a screen, hoping to get the defender to lose track of her, but no, River completely aware of what was happening, though he almost lost the ball on the other end. Cross nearly coming up with it.
And yeah, with 6 seconds separating the shot clock and the game clock, we are going to see that Montana will have a chance to, once again, have a chance to score. But we'll see how things go here as Roth tries to go for a quick shot, and it's not going to be good. So, at the end of the second quarter, Montana with the lead, 52-51.
Yeah, not how Tennessee wanted to come into this game, seeing how they had a 15-point lead in the last game, and now they find themselves down by 1 here. You know what? There's been a lot of a big difference compared to game number 3 with how Montana has been attacking. You know, the turnovers have been a bit even this time. It's not been a one-sided affair like in game 3, and that might be the difference maker here. As Montana up by 1 with 24 minutes left to go.
Yeah, and going into the halftime, looking at some of the stats here, I think the big thing that we have to pretty much give homage to when it comes to the Howlers in this case has been them being able to find a good response compared to how it was in game number 3. As Selby could still continuing to do what he does best offensively, 17 points, 7 of 9 in when it comes to the field goal shots made.
Yeah, but I feel like so much of that was in the first quarter, and we didn't see necessarily anywhere near as much in the second. And we saw River definitely picking it up with some scoring, but then you really have to go down to the bench for the rest of it. And it's one thing if that's the recipe to win, but is it gonna end up being that recipe that leads them to victory? And Montana, with them having a lead right now, you kind of have to worry. You need your rest of your starters to step it up. You can't rely on your bench to do the bulk of the scoring outside of Selby. As we dive on into Montana, Cross has been volume shooting, but not necessarily converting how he would like. And Williamson hit that huge 3, but then struggled a bit, so he's been more focused on dishing the ball out. It's really been Cross and St. Croix and Sutters getting the points done efficiently. Both of them absolutely attacking the paint, and St. Croix already on path for a double-double. Birdie has been absolutely quiet. This is very reminiscent of that game number 2 where, came into the first half, didn't really do much, and now we wait to see if he's going to show up in the second half.
Yeah, it just seems like that right now, the Moonshiners have done a very good job trying to contain Birdie, but now the issue has starting to come more into going up against the Polar Bear. She has done a fantastic job within the paint, being able to clean up some of the misses that have been on the Howler side, as well as possibly doing, pulling some damage defensively as well.
Williamson gonna get the steal there, dish to Sutters. That's a great way to start the second half, as a very quick play turns around a strip to a fast break opportunity, and Kierkegaard's got to be more careful with the ball.
Yeah, and that's something that you really want to do, especially when it comes to trying to quiet down the crowd noise as well, because that's not something you want to see, a failed shot attempt quickly going into a fast break scenario for the Howlers side. And once again, another missed opportunity there for the Moonshiners as St. Croix passes it over to Williamson to perhaps try to extend this lead even more so.
And of course, they're going to give it to the polar bear down the post, but Kierkegaard is all over it. In fact, a double team leaving Williamson open, and they can't do that. He has struggled from inside the free throw 3-point line, but he has been lights out from beyond it. And that's his second tonight now.
Yeah, he has been the one that made the most three-pointers out of everybody within the entirety of the series. That's not something you want to leave open beyond the arc like that, even if Qua's having a really good game so far.
Well, I think Selby might challenge him for that in that regard, because he has shown his range as well. But in terms of, where the bulk of their production has come from, it's definitely been Callum from beyond the arc for him. Speaking of Selby, he's going to try and fight his way into the post. Ends up doing a bit of a fadeaway to make it work. That is his 19th point. On track for a 30-point game. As a quick play down to Birdie. Fouled, double teamed, and it's going to be Berger Kane getting called for the contact. So Birdie will go to the line 4-2.
Yeah, and right now, Birdie has really tried his best to match up with Selby throughout the entirety of this series, because we know how well that Birdie has done so far within the powers of getting into the paint, drawing the foul when he gets over to the basket, or even just finding a way to maneuver his way into getting a score. And that does not change here, as Montana is looking to extend this lead with these two baskets. And that will be the case, as Birdie really trying to do whatever he can to pick up the offensive scoring, as he was pretty silent in the first half.
Oh, extremely. And we're going to see a foul called against Cross. That's her third, sending Selby the line 4-2. And, I mean, Montana with the biggest lead they've had thus far in this game. As we see Selby from the line, good on the first. And honestly, fouling him at this point might be the only way to lower his field goal percentage, because he might have a worse free throw percentage than field goal at this point.
That is true, with the fact that he's going to make both of them still. He has been the one that has kept Tennessee in this game, and he's now 21 points into this game. Yeah, he has been quiet in the second quarter, but they didn't have to rely on him too much, really, to stay within it. But he has the opportunity to threaten to make it to possibly a 40-point game once again for him.
Yeah, and Birdie from beyond the arc, that's not his normal range, and you see there, the defense was willing to collapse on St. Croix with a double team once again, despite Williamson's getting that three earlier. And now it's going to be a drive to the basket for Berger Kane, laying it up and in.
Yeah, and now the Shiners are starting to come alive a little bit, as they're now only down by 2. If they get a stop here, you got to imagine that this is going to be a very interesting case for the Shiners to possibly take control of this game completely.
And Tennessee with the ball. Selby again trying to get it done on his own. Not enough there. Missed opportunity. Montana now with the ball, and it's going to be Birdie coast to coast, laying it up and in.
Birdie just finds ways to make it look way too easy for anyone to kind of pretty much see. Just the way that he moves from coast to coast and being able to maneuver around his defenders is just an amazing watch to see.
And Selby, step back jumper, no good. The defense smothering the rabbit there, and now it's Callum attacking the post, not able to get it. Giving it to the polar bear, and she is going to get the and one opportunity, and you see she is pumped up. 3 defenders around her, and she still made the basket.
Yeah, she is not something to be trifled with in the paint. It'll be a struggle to try to suffer from getting over to the basket, and it's not often you really see her draw any kind of foul. Usually a lot of defenders just stay out of her way for the most part when she goes up to the basket, but being able to draw that foul, and now Montana has a chance to extend the lead even more so after another turnover from Tennessee.
And Rendall basically throwing that ball up there, somehow gets it to convert, and that's 10 points for the rookie here tonight. Almost a sixth of the points coming from the rookie off the bench for Montana. Been a bit of a difference maker in terms of helping build this lead. But now it's Tennessee's bench that needs to answer back as well.
Yeah, Tennessee really needs to find some kind of answer for the second unit as Lady Black has to go and chuck one up, and it's not going to be good here. Well, I'm going to get a quick tip in there from Kierkegaard as they once again leave him out there with the second unit to possibly help assist, but St. Croix is also there to really be a nuisance, and she draws the foul on Kierkegaard.
Okay, I think they're going to be generous and claim that Kierkegaard was the one to score that second chance bucket, but I'm 90% sure Montana player tipped it in. As they were going for the rebound there. But
Yeah,
I was going to say Saquon good on
Saquon,
both of them.
yeah, I will have to say that possession was definitely an odd one to say the least, because I thought that was a complete miss, and maybe Kierkegaard got his hoof on it, but I'm not too sure on that regard. But Lady, she's been able to go ahead and try and drive into the paint and get that layup to go in.
Yeah, well, the Jackalope finally getting a chance to rest. Certainly be glad to have that opportunity to catch his breath, but it's going to be Blackburn attacking the post for Montana. And, you know, St. Croix still out there, but you can tell I think Dunbrock is going to be on the floor soon. And, you know, she's only stayed in because she's been the one getting fouled on each possession.
Yeah, I can imagine that being the case, and that really kind of shows the flexibility of the amount of bigs that Montana has. And even with Kierkegaard off on the floor, that does make St. Croix a lot more valuable for Montana, since considering the fact that she has been very physical when it comes to getting into the paint, and Montana just doesn't have the size for her. But they do have the speed and athleticism to possibly counter what Croix has as they make the basket with that.
Yeah, great alley-oop. I mean, ran around the entire defender. But no, St. Croix wants to show you how it's actually done. almost 19 points for her. She has matched Selby in terms of scoring production here tonight. You know, maybe she's the one who's going to put up a 40-point game.
Yeah, she has been on fire so far into this game, and she has not been afraid to go ahead and do what she got to do in the basket. And speaking of, Blackburn with an excellent block there from behind, and now they're going to feed the Big Bear, but her paw went out of bounds, so it will be going over to the Moonshiners.
Yeah, it's very tough for a player her size, you know, trying to thread the sideline. There's a reason why, you know, they don't usually go out there. I'm sure there's some players that can't even stand between the three-point line and the out-of-bounds line without stepping out of bounds.
Yeah, that is a fair statement to say. A Sharp goes in and takes the quick dunk.
Yeah, and here's the problem. Tennessee is now looking down. Now another dunk, 11-point deficit. You know, they've been back and forth between the 9 and 11. And, you know, this is not how the home crowd wants to see their team. They need to give Fengen. It's a dunk contest now. Back and forth on the dunks. No one's defending the post at all here tonight.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. It seems like it's easy for both teams to find some kind of open fur into the paint to go for those dunks. And right now, we're going to continue seeing the paint being utilized as Blackburn got around his defender and goes for that easy 2 points.
And now Tennessee, they need to answer back. They need not just to answer back, but they need to stop the Howlers attacking in the paint. And it's going to be at McKenzie far out there, getting it done from the dunk, but getting it done from 19 feet out, almost a three-pointer, but just inside the line. And now they need to get a defensive stop. They have to get Montana to start making some misses here. And Blackburn against Black is not how they're going to do that, because, I'm sorry,
Oof.
Blackburn actually does decide to dish it away. Is Yamashita?
Yeah, I think he's trying to...
Okay, Yamashita. Just three-pointer.
Yeah, that's one way to really kind of get the extension here is, as you said, the Moonshiners are going to have to call another timeout as they have been struggling to find any sort of answer so far, as Montana has gone on a pretty big run here in this in game number 4.
Yeah, I mean, Montana has found the key in this second half. Obviously, you know, they were only up by 1 going into it, but now they find themselves up a far higher margin, a 12-point game. And now It's on Tennessee. They are they're at home. So, they have the fans in their back, cheering them on. The fans need to be a little bit more vocal though here and to root for their team. Obviously, down by 14, it's very tough to, stay energized in this kind of environment. But that's what they need right now is, to feed off the crowd.
Yeah, it just seems like that a lot of energy has really been sunken because of the amazing efforts that the Howlers have done so far, continuing to expand this lead as they continue with that dunk right there. And they're just like making it look way too easy for the team that is in the maroon.
Yeah, and this is game one all over again. Second quarter where Tennessee just fell apart. Except they're doing it here in the third quarter now, and it's just a struggle. Down by 16. This is a massive deficit. Honestly, Tennessee may need to call a timeout and just bring back Selby. They may not be able to afford to let their starters rest any longer. As Collins, shot clock winding down, not able to convert.
Yeah, it just seems like the second unit for the Moonshiners have just completely fell off the rails, not able to find any kind of bucket, and has just been bullied so far in the paint from all of the bigger players here in Montana, and that's kind of really how these matchups can go. Usually the team that has the bigger bodies have an easier time to go up against any of these players, and now we're starting to hear a little bit of boo birds as Rendall goes for a quick three, and I imagine that we're going to get a timeout as Montana has already hit 90 points, and we haven't even made the fourth quarter yet.
Yeah, they're almost hitting 40 points in this quarter alone, and that is Tennessee is the coach. You can tell is not happy right now, and I mean, uh, their defense has just been so porous, and Tennessee hasn't been able to put up enough points. I think they put up 17 total compared to the near 38. And yeah, there we go. Both teams making mass substitutions. Some starters coming in, some not. And it looks like, Selby, yeah, definitely on the floor. They had to bring him back in, but they're going to leave some of the bench players in. Let Selby rack up points with the second unit, and then maybe rely on your starters in the last quarter to help. And there we go, finally a basket. It was a drought. That was the main problem. But besides, the bench also outscoring as well doesn't help.
Yeah, the bench outscoring Tennessee's by 14, and that's something that you really, really don't want to see. As once again, we see Montana continuing on that offensive prowess against the Moonshiners, and right now you can hear a pen drop of how quiet everyone is right now.
Well, they're going to get a little bit excited for Selby. He might have to put up a 50-point game right now to get them back in, and it comes on both ends. Selby might be able to get the offensive side going, but they have to put a stop, and he's going to go against the rookie, and the rookie is going to win the battle in the post. 17 points for him tonight.
Yeah, it just seems like a lot of the bench players that are coming that have been very fantastic before, especially for the for players like Rendall. Selby goes for a three, and it's a complete air ball for this one.
Oh, that is rough for him. I mean, but Cross will step out of bounds there. She's back in. She is the only starter for Montana on the floor right now. But there we go. More subs coming in. The Tennessee knows that, as every possession goes by, that a 21-point game becomes harder and harder to overcome. And they need to make it this gap. They need 15 maybe before the end of the quarter. That would be their ideal. That'd be the best case scenario. 2 quick possessions that get them back within that mountain. They're going to go to the line for 2 as Dunbrock picks up his third.
Yeah, Bivens trying to be able to use some of his athleticism to go ahead and get down into the paint and draw that foul. And we are going to see it finally go down to 19 points with both of those free throws going in. But they need to get a couple of stops. They have to get a couple of stops if they want to have a chance to get the some kind of momentum back on their side as we enter the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, this has to be a big stop, and Kierkegaard against the rookie. The Jackalope does come out on top. You're a little concerned there that maybe the basket would have fallen its way in, but no. And now Selby, this would be the time to hit a 3. Hit a 3 or within 16, and that's still a massive disappointment to find yourself in, but you are at least back in this game, and from beyond the arc is good.
Ooh.
He does exactly as needed, hitting the 3, and just like that, I mean, I say that 94 to 78, it's still a massive wall that Tennessee needs to climb here, but they are at home. And, the Montana has seemed unbreakable tonight, but maybe they'll get a little cocky with this big of a lead here.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that that shot can really do good for any player, for any team entering the final quarter because any last second show can make anybody hyped at any sort of moment. But now in this case scenario, as they are down by 16, 94 to 78, they need to do whatever they can to get the much important stops because these first few minutes are going to be the most important one that can set the tone for the rest of this game.
Yeah, meanwhile, Mads, that's another basket, almost 20 points here. Uh, Big showing from the rookie here tonight. Is Selby getting double teamed immediately, and that's going to be Montana's answer. If they can slow him down, that might be all they need to do here tonight to win. But they're going to dish it down to Kierkegaard. Great matchup against Cross, is able to convert. But, this is one of those leads that 16 points. If this was the first or second quarter, I could still see it as being possible. Fourth quarter, that is very rough.
It is a very rough thing. You have to pretty much play darn near perfect to catch up, and they are able to get the stop this time, but they have to do everything they can to get all the opportunities, and they will do that as Bivens draws the foul against Sutters. So he will go on the line for two, but you got to make them as he missed the first one.
Yeah, and just keep in mind, Montana scored over both of them.
Oh.
The rookie in a high-pressure situation, not able to stand up to it. And now Williamson dishing up to Cross. And, Montana scored over 40 points in that quarter alone. And now Tennessee has to do more than that as they battle for the ball. Aldrich will be the one to get the strip. And now leading the possession. Alley-oop to Kierkegaard is good.
And that's what you really need to see. You're probably going to have to rely on Kierkegaard quite a bit as we get to the final stretch of this game, trying to find ways to get him to utilize his size against all the other bigs that Montana has, because the size advantage has been the biggest weakness for Tennessee, as once again, Montana being able to find another basket there.
Yeah, Cross wide open, elevating for the dunk. She wants to quiet the crowd. The crowd was starting to get going, and now it's Berger Kane up against St. Croix, able to convert against the Polar Bear. Field goal percentage for Montana definitely heavily in their favor, but Tennessee had more possessions. They've had the steals, they've had the second chance opportunities. But no, Cross again wide open, this time with the finger roll layup. Great play from her.
Yeah, and they already hit the century mark, and even though they do have more possessions, they have to come in. They have to go into the basket to be able to really kind of make things go their way, as Selby does get the lay-in. But they are slowly starting to cut this lead down a little bit, but they still need a couple of big stops to make this somewhat of a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's a 14-point game, not that far from the 16-point we found themselves in 3 minutes ago. So, they have to be a little bit quicker about this comeback. They can't afford. They need to be back within single digits as soon as possible. Is Selby going to do that? But no, fouled hard. Ooh. Sutters refusing to let him build momentum with a dunk. Fouls him hard.
Yeah, and even though he is about to hit 30 points into this game so far, if he hits these two, and he does just that, but right now, every basket's going to count, and if they have to rely on having to go on the charity stripe, that's going to have to be the way they have to play, trying to slow down any sort of momentum for the Howlers. We get another alley-oop to Sutters as he gets the quick dunk.
Selby from beyond the arc. This is needed. It takes a trip around the world, but does fall, and now it's an 11-point game. They're starting to make a little bit of headway, and the crowd is finally getting a little energized here. They're seeing a little glimmer of hope sneak back into this game, and there we go. Kierkegaard with the interception. Shelby, fast break opportunity, slows it down, dishing to Berger Kane, who's blocked hard.
Yeah, really good defensive effort there for the Howlers, trying to prevent any sort of fast break from happening to cut to a single-digit lead. But now They need to find a way to try and put the icing on this cake as we hit the 8-minute mark. This is going to be very interesting to see how this goes.
Yeah, and Sutter's again with the ball. He stepped up this game, not able to convert it. Selby a chance to get this back to single digits with a single basket. He wants to take on the polar bear, and he comes out on top. 9-point game, and you hear the crowd. They are up off their seats right now.
Yeah, and Selby already very close to hitting that 40-point game like he did in game 1, but will the story be different here to possibly turn that into a win? We'll have to see, as Montana trying to go tit for tat, but that basket's not going to go down this time.
Yeah, Callum's still struggling a bit. He hit the big three earlier. And, I mean, maybe need to get him more open on the perimeter. No, Selby, costly turnover there. Momentum, again, you got to be careful. You can't run away with the pace. You got to go it. If you start going off the rails, you're going to lose out. And Callum, attacking the basket, is able to get one to fall there.
Yeah, and looking at the turnover situation, even though Montana had more turnovers, they have been able to still take a more advantage of what the situation is. But getting another 3 there for Tennessee.
Yeah, Aldridge.
As now they have it.
I'll say Aldridge stretching it too this time.
Yeah, and they got it within single digits here too. And they have a chance to cut the deficit down even more so, as they are looking to possibly make a little bit of a run, as Baptiste is going to have to go on the line for 2.
Yeah, and Birdie's been quiet now. I feel like they need to get Birdie back involved in this. And, ooh, a missed opportunity there. Baptiste going for the second. Oh, 2! That might come back to cost them. 2 missed free throws is huge.
This is the second time this happened for Tennessee, where a player missed both of their free throws. And if those 2 were made, we're looking at a 4-point game here. And now we're just looking at another chance for Montana to go back within double digits.
Yeah, they can get a stop here, but no. Quick play. Kierkegaard, he refuses. He says no thank you to them and dunks it down for his 10th point. He's 2 rebounds shy of a double-double here tonight. And he's been getting it done on defense as well. And Baptiste making up for those missed free throws by getting a steal. And now it's going to be a fast break opportunity. Berger Kane on the perimeter, calling for the screen, not finding an open lane, but is against St. Croix. Might be opening up the post a little bit, but no, he's going to do it himself. Hesitates in the air, holds onto the ball, and lays it up and in. And just like that, Tennessee back within 6.
Yeah, and so far, Tennessee trying to find some kind of answer, but again, the Howlers doing what they can to continue to keep that cushion afloat, not giving Tennessee any kind of opportunity to catch up. But the Howlers sure are not doing that on the defensive end, that's for sure.
Yeah, Aldrich, a big dunk. He got that 3 just a little while ago and then answers with a dunk now. And here's the thing, it feels like Montana, they're scoring, but it's desperate scoring. You know, they're not doing it cleanly. They're not doing it in a good, composed way as Cross. Double team not able to battle for the rebound, does not go their way. Montana might need to call timeout with under 5 minutes left to go. Things are starting to slip out of their control as Kierkegaard cleaning up, second chance opportunity. 4-point game, Marcus.
Yeah, and that's kind of been the biggest thing that's been really been hampering, as Sutter's finally able to stop the bleeding here as they go back up by 6. But Tennessee, you got to say that all momentum is on their end, and we finally get a timeout, but this is on the Moonshiners' end, which is a very interesting call, as the coach probably wants to talk it over as we are under the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum is in their way. He probably wants to give them some reassurances, let them know what he wants to change that they've been doing so far. And, we can't declare, I'm not declaring a player of the game. This game's not done yet. Tennessee, I would have been fine if at the third quarter came to an end we did this, but the fact that they're back within 6 after being down by 21, after being down by 16 at the quarter, this has been a absolute rally from Tennessee at home in front of their home crowd fans. Might be able to close this gap and tie it up. And this would be an absolute momentum shift as we see a foul called on Sutters and 1. Berger Kane stepping up here in the last couple minutes is going to the line for an and 1 opportunity. And St. Croix is talking to the Gannett, trying to reassure him, I guess, about what he needs to be covering.
Yeah, right now I think the frustration's starting to come in for both of the bigs as Berger Gang is going to get the old school 3-point play, and now Tennessee is only down by one possession with 4 minutes left into the game, and you got to imagine that Lavoy Williams is probably going to look to try and take control and really uh, get things back into control on the Howells end. But we get a quick block there against Cross.
It doesn't matter, able to contain it. It's going to be Callum who answers with the basket. I know he's struggled a bit tonight, but in this last half, he's been putting up some points now with consistency. I'd like to see him again stretch the three. The three right now would be massive. He actually goes for a steal. That's another area that Montana has been doing well in, is getting those strips. But because of the bonus situation, this is unfortunate. It's going to send them to the line 4-2. And Aldridge, good on the first. Can he hit the second and push this back to a 3-point game, though?
Yeah, and that's really kind of been something you're scared of because the Moonshiners have been struggling late in the fourth quarter, and that continues here after another miss. That's the 5th free throw miss for this quarter, and Montana is going to take advantage of that really quickly as they are now once again up by 6.
And again, Sutter's down low in the post. They've been going to him with consistency. We haven't seen St. Croix as much because Sutters has been stepping up, and it's going to be Selby one-on-one. You saw that he had his entire team go to the right side and let him have the entire left side to go one-on-one in isolation to make that basket work. And defensively, you have to shift when you see that. You can't leave your teammate out to dry one-on-one against Selby right now. He is too hot. As Cross answers back, keeping it as 6-point game.
Yeah, Cross having a really decent game herself. That's her 15th point so far, but that is going to be the big key as we see a failed alley-oop attempt as River hopping up a little bit too late to utilize it. So that'll be another unforced turnover by Tennessee, which is something you don't want to see at this point of the game.
No, you got back within 6, and at this point you can't afford to keep letting it happen. A great block, but no, Sutters cleans it up, but not good enough as Kierkegaard pulls down the board, refusing to let another offensive turnover, and this time handing it directly to River instead of making him go to it as he dunks it down. 4-point game. Crowd once again off their chairs, on their feet. 2 minutes left to go. An interception!
Oh!
Quick pass to Berger Kane. Off the glass. No good. Williamson. Enough defensive pressure there. The Wallaby puts a stop to it. Now it's Birdie from mid-range. Gets it done. Oh, this game's on a knife edge. That could have been a 2-point game had Berger Kane managed to hit that bucket in transition.
Yeah, that's such a huge swing. Which that really comes into they can be momentum changing. And right now, Tennessee trying to do everything they can to possibly get it. And River cleaning up his own miss as they're now only down by 4 once again.
Oh, it wasn't even just cleaning up his own miss. It's like he passed it to himself because he couldn't get the dunk the first time, needed a second opportunity to try it. As Williamson blocked, double teamed. Oh, big play here. Selby, of course, going to get the rock. Montana needs to double team him. They have to stop him. They can't let him get an opportunity. And St. Croix able to stop the Rabbit. Finally, another opportunity for Tennessee to get this back to a one-possession game, denied by the defense.
Yeah, St. Croix doing what she does best as the crowd's screaming defense at this point, but Williamson doing everything he can to fight and won, so he's a chance to extend this lead over to 7, and the crowd is furious with that call.
Yeah, it's bad enough that he made the basket in the end, but how Williamson, between Kierkegaard and another player, managed to come up with that offensive rebound, I do not know. You would not expect him to be able to get a second chance in that opportunity, in that location, and now it's all on Tennessee. They need, honestly, a 3 here.
They definitely do, and you got to look for Selby to possibly make that 3, as he has been the major factor beyond the arc. But there's not a lot of time left. They have to do something with it, as Kierkegaard has to go for a tough mid-ranger, and it's not going to be good. And that might be the dagger, as there are only 40 seconds left of the game.
No,
with
that's the dagger.
St. Croix being able to get that quick dunk, and the Shiners are going to have to call time out. That is not something you want to see here at home if you're Tennessee.
Yeah, and the game just slipped out of their grasp, I think, here at the end. They climbed Mount Everest and tumbled right at the end, and it's so painful to watch, unfortunately, and the fans not necessarily happy with it. Here is, again, they've gone quiet now, but this game was so close. Tennessee was back in it. They were within a basket or two, and they just couldn't make it convert. And it's not over yet, but I mean, they haven't fouled yet, so maybe they are calling it over. It's a 7-point game. That's a 3-possession game, and they just absolutely let
Oh,
the
that's
defense.
just
But that gives them a
what
chance here for a three. If they hit a three, foul, three, foul. Is Weber
it's a
does
lot,
it?
but oh my goodness. How
We
is it called timeout for here? So now you got to imagine that the starter is going to go back on the court with that shot being made. That is a wild shot to be made at this point in the game.
well, not just that, but the defense left it open. They let Montana attack the basket, and then they missed. They could have just held on to the ball, but no, that might be costly. And if they do not get this ball inbound safely, no, they do. And like I said, both starters all back on the court. They're gonna foul, send them to the line. Okay, 4-point game. Here's the problem. He makes both of these. You have to hit a three and then steal the inbound. But it's not out
Yeah.
yet. We've seen Albany do this last year. They overcame an impossible deficit, it seemed like, in the last minute to force overtime. But this would be even harder.
Yeah, trying to do that within 10 seconds is darn near impossible. But we've seen some crazy stuff here in the FBA as the both baskets do go down as Montana is going to be up by 6, and we get another timeout. I believe that was on Tennessee's end. So
Yeah.
they're going to have a quick discussion to see what's going to be the play to get this 3.
Yeah, they're going
And
to inbound it. They have to go to Selby. I feel like it has to be Selby.
it needs to be Selby because he's been the main person making all the threes. And it will be going to Selby, but they pass it quickly to Kierkegaard. K going for 3, and it hits it.
Okay, this is bad. Inbound pass. You have to get this in, Montana. Call timeout. No, they get it in, thankfully. Okay, barely. I was getting a little worried there. I thought they might get called for delaying the game. But they get the inbound safely, and now, this might be it. If he makes even one of these, he needs one.
He just needs one to get the win, and he will get the first.
Well, I mean,
and if the second,
don't foul on a 3-point attempt, because then they might get a 4-point play. But good on both. Okay, still not done yet. They can get a quick play up the court and hit a 3. They can still steal the inbound. But Aldrich has to shoot. No, Selby needs to shoot now. Not enough time. Doesn't hit it, but oh my goodness.
And what a stunning game number 4 as Montana is able to escape with a 3-1 lead.
I thought that game was over at least 3 different times, and Tennessee each time refused to let it go. They even subbed in their second unit thinking it was over, and they somehow got it back and had to sub in all their starters again.
And you know what? You know what the crazy thing about this whole entire situation? How many points was that lead as the game ended?
5? Which is how many free throws they missed.
Yes, how many free throws did they miss in the fourth quarter? Was those 5? That's how important those free throws are, and you have to make them.
Well, even if
the fact that those
go ahead.
Yeah, the fact that those 5 free throws were missed probably could have got us into overtime right now. We still be going on and see how well this thing goes.
Well, not just that, but even if we went by, they hit 4 out of the 5 or 3 out of the 5, that changes the game plan. You don't have to go for those threes. You can maybe go for a 2 instead to tie it up. And oh my Lord, that was a heck of a finale. And I mean, Tennessee fans are going to be deflated after that, but the fact that they came back from such a huge deficit and were able to push Montana to the very brink means that there has to be some hope going on the road, even though Montana managed to steal one here, that Tennessee can answer back in game number 5.
That is really going to be the big case here because remember, during this time, they were down by 21 points. Yeah. The fact that they were threatening to perhaps not only tie, but possibly take the lead in the fourth quarter shows how much grit the Moonshiners have had throughout the entirety of this playoff run. And but going into the comparisons right here, you can see how well the Moonshiners have been able to bounce back as we look in from each of these quarters. But of course, in the early goings, the Moonshiners did very well, um, stat wise, opening up in here, but the Howlers just did whatever they could to continue to push, especially in the third quarter.
Yeah, the third quarter they just ran away with it. 42 points. They missed 3 shots the entire quarter.
And
That
that's
is
insane.
unreal. But then look, Tennessee basically did the same thing to them. You know, they
it
came
just it's
back.
Yeah, it's just those 5 free throws that ended up costing them the opportunity to at least take it to overtime.
Well, like I said, right there, you see it. 59%. They almost shot better from the field than the free throw line. I can tell you what the players are doing tonight. I can tell you what the players are doing tomorrow, and that is free throw drills until someone throws up.
Oh, 100%. Because that is something that you don't want to see for anybody, whether it's coaches, players, or fans, because the charity stripe is so important in the game of basketball. Yes, those look pretty easy because no one's really guarding you in those moments. But when you're in that atmosphere, it's all a mental game. And if you're not mentally prepared to take those shots, it's going to be a rough time for your team as a whole.
Yeah, and remember, Bivens was one of those players that had the opportunity, and he missed two of them. And I mean that's the kind of situation you look for is you want to put the rookies, you want to put the young furs on the line in those situations under the pressure because those are the players you want to see crack, and they often are the ones that do crack. And I mean, Mad Rindal tonight was absolutely insane from the floor, but then Bivens, as soon as he had the pressure placed on him to hit those free throws missed one, and that first miss had to have an impact on that second one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's kind of why a lot of people would like to target rookies in these situations, especially in a stage like this in the FBA Finals, because that's when you really get to see how much of mental strength a player has in those situations. And when you're young like that, you're kind of expected to be put in those situations where you need to make those baskets to possibly give your team an opportunity to possibly win the game outright.
Yeah, but like I said, Marcus, we end this game in Tennessee. Montana steals one on the road, and now they are on the cusp of their championship. And you talked about, we've never had a team come back from 3-0 down, let alone in the finals. But how about 3-1? Do you think that's possible here for this Tennessee team?
Certainly a better opportunity to get it than being down 3-0, but it's still going to be a very difficult thing to do. Not only having to, you're basically expected to not steal one on the road, not once, but twice in this series. Or if they were able to finish up 2-2, they don't have to worry about doing it just one time. But now they need to find some kind of way to come into a very rowdy place in the Howlers to possibly go ahead and take it twice.
Yeah.
And that's really hard to do. I mean, it's not hard for anyone to really beat Montana in their home court in the regular season. And especially here in these playoffs, it has been excruciatingly difficult to get one on the road.
Yes, it's going to be a big challenge for them. But one more game potentially for Montana, and they get to do it at home. Or will Tennessee push this series to a game number 6? I've been Ryan Eastman. That's been Marcus Baylor. And you guys have been wonderful. And I can't wait to see you for game 5 in Montana. Have a good night.
See ya.